up.
Ricky White look like big time from He Got Game.
Hey man, chill. I got a lot going on over here. I got to cover up some things, you know.
All right. All right. We are live. So you guys already know what I do. But this time I had to bring in some, as I call, some elite people that are definitely involved in wrestling and also gamers as well. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves one by one. Obviously, you guys know me and Dom. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with my guy, Based over there. So, Based, go ahead and tell everybody, man.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? My name's Based or Scott. I run West Coast Pro Wrestling. And if you're on the internet a lot, I also run and co-own Fat Kid Deals. There, I'm just gonna leave it at that.
So everybody who knows about the Fat Kid Deals, you know this is the guy that you lose all your money to, because whatever you need, they got it. They find it.
This is the guy.
This is the guy.
I just ordered something earlier too.
Yeah.
That's us.
Yeah. All right, LX Sniper, go ahead, brother.
What's going on, people? This is LX Dark Sniper, co-founder of League of Excellence Esports Entertainment. YouTube channel is LX Dark Sniper, where you can find the best Fight Night Champions boxing entertainment videos anywhere on the net. Check it out, and I can't wait to start this podcast and we can talk some wrestling with you guys.
All right, Chris, man, go ahead.
Hey guys, and all listeners, my name's Chris. I'm just a diehard fan, been a big wrestling fanatic since I was able to walk, big time gamer. Looking forward to talking shop with you guys.
All right, Ricky.
If you don't know by now, my name is Rick James.
Bitch.
Exactly. Thank you for the introduction. I'm just a usual casual person, just real cool. Shout out to them bringing me here. I don't know why they brought me here, but hey, shout out to them.
I think because we probably owe you. I probably owe you money. That's probably why I'm doing this.
You may do. You may owe me some money, I believe.
All right, and of course, man, up top, my guy Dom. You guys already know, but Dom, go ahead.
Oh, well, yeah, Dom. Like Hendo said, me and him do, most sports talks together. Also, I have Euphoric Trip. And also the High Flyers Wrestling Podcast. We cover everything, especially with all the shenanigans going on right now. Shout out to Vince. Not really. But, yeah. So subscribe. Check us out on all your major streaming sites. PS4, Xbox One. I'm delivering ass whoopings all around. So, holla at me.
All right. So, obviously today is something special because we're all gamers. And growing up, for the majority of us, we enjoyed a lot of these games. Of course, a lot of these wrestling games. So for starters, I want to know, we'll get to the 64 part because obviously that's probably what they call the golden age for most guys on the wrestling games. But anybody into the Nintendo Sega era wrestling games? I remember they had Royal Rumble. I think they had was it WrestleMania? I believe?
They had WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, and they had Raw on Sega. I don't know if that was on Super Nintendo or not.
I know it was on Sega for sure.
You had WrestleMania Arcade Acclaim on that one.
You had WrestleMania WrestleFest. Sorry.
Yeah.
I hated WrestleMania arcade game, especially fighting the Undertaker.
What? Love that game. That game was fun. It was stupid fun.
Undertaker and Razor Ramon
should have been banned. That game is the reason why the Undertaker is banned from all future games. That WrestleMania arcade.
Undertaker crawled so Goldberg can walk.
No, he has a fatality in the game. A fatality, bro.
Yeah, that was a fun game.
What's up, Anson?
Tombstone.
Oh, what's up? Shout out to Anson, man.
I hate it, man.
Shout out to the original three.
So I think, for me, I was looking at some gaming history. I remember there was a WCW game as well. I believe it was on Super Nintendo.
Super Brawl. Yes. Flair was on the cover of it.
Super Brawl.
Yeah, and I remember that game was really bad. Apparently, it was
horrendous.
I remember playing WrestleMania. My favorite wrestler was Papa Shango. So I love Papa Shango. So that's the only person I would pick because he had the best move set, even though everybody did the same moves. But his moves seemed to be he had a lot more moves. I remember they had Shawn Michaels, he had the backbreaker basically at that time. Mm-hmm. So Yeah, like they had some pretty good stuff on there. Then of course you had Terry. We already know who Terry is. They had Terry on the game.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Shout out to Papa
Yeah, then
Shango, though. Who would have known in 5 years, 5 or 7 years later, Papa Shango would have all the hoes? Who knew?
Yeah, that he's going down. Said that was his favorite persona.
I wonder why.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, Chrome Studios, 1994 made Super Brawl. It had Vader, Sting, and Ric Flair on the cover.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Vader.
Wrestling.
Yeah, man. And I remember. So, what we need to do, I guess, at this point, because obviously then we can transition over to PlayStation, because I think we already know about some of the arcade games that wrestling bought, but then PlayStation comes around for us, and then 64. So for PlayStation, the worst I'm gonna ask y'all off the bat, the worst wrestling game I probably ever played, not named WCW Mayhem or Backstage or something, was WCW Nitro. I hated that damn game.
Thunder.
I don't know about y'all, but I hate
Thunder, and then there was
Thunder was
WCW
I want to say
terrible.
Thunder was another one too. I hated on.
Or there
Thunder
was
was trash.
WCW had Super Brawl on the Game Boy, and it was it was hard. It was stupid hard.
Was I the only
NES hard.
Dude,
I
I hated
to play ECW Hardcore Revolution with RVD on the front?
You
Didn't
do
they
that.
have a sequel to that too?
Chair kick.
Unlocking Rules or some shit?
Yeah, and I had both of them.
Where you had to push up, up, down, down, left, right.
So,
Also, they had In Your House too on the PS1.
Ugh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had Power Move Pro Wrestling. That was another one that I know I had for sure.
That was the first PlayStation game I ever owned.
I hated Power Move Pro.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
That's all I can say is yeah.
Well, the crazy thing on Thunder, the only good thing about that game was the little introductions you would get for each wrestler before you would select them. My favorite one was Kevin Nash. She would just say, "I know what you're thinking. Don't even pick me. Pick somebody else." That was the only good thing about that game. Other than that game was garbage.
What was Ultimate Warrior saying though in his promo, in his character selection screen?
I don't remember.
So the ill thing was like those games you played. So you had like Nitro Thunder, Backstage Assault and stuff like that. But they weren't like pivotal. Attitude, that was a pivotal game. No Mercy, things like that. But it's weird that like most of the WCW stuff, they went from AKI, I think that's the name of it,
Yeah.
THQ, to the companies that made these games. Those games bombed, bro. I just didn't understand why anyone played them.
Yeah, I mean, it was all downhill once they came out with Backstage Assault on the Nintendo 64. Like, the fact that they had tire irons in the junkyard as the turnbuckles, nothing good was going to come from that game whatsoever.
What came out first? The Def, what was that one? It was on the 64. Different rappers like
Def Jam Vendetta, yeah.
Yeah, Vendetta, Def Jam Vendetta. Well, didn't Backstage Assault come out first, or Def? Yeah. I mean, it's like when Backstage Assault came out, they used some of that ideas and stuff for Vendetta.
Yeah.
But I mean, that'd be, if you were trying to say anything good about Backstage Assault, that would probably be it.
And I didn't even think about that. So you have to go deep to even come up with something positive to say about Backstage Assault. But
yeah, there's two.
Yeah.
There's Def Jam Vendetta and then Def Jam Fight
for New York. We don't talk about Icon.
I didn't even know. I didn't know anyone played it. Shit, that's crazy.
You made the smart decision because that game was terrible. That's one game they need to bring back, like for sure.
Yeah, they could. I mean, right? Because they've already announced WWE's not going to be making a new wrestling game for 2K for this year, which is good. This game was so buggy. Someone could step in, make another Vendetta, or just remaster that one and bring that out, and they'll sell.
I would actually spend $65 on it. I'm not gonna lie. I would spend full price on the Def Jam Fight for New York.
When AEW gonna do a game?
They still working on that. They trying to get the Aki people to make it though. So that's kind of
When AEW gonna do a game?
Yeah.
Oh.
They're trying to get the Aki engine, you know what I'm saying? So that's who they're trying to get to do it, because that's who Kenny Omega and Cody Rhodes, like, if they do that, that'll probably be the best video game of all time. Unlike Impact and TNA, because they could have kept that.
Oh, wait, so that's ask this question for you guys. What's your favorite? What's both of y'all's, or all three of y'all's? What's your favorite wrestling game of all time?
Ooh.
It was No Mercy until I played the Virtual Pro Wrestling games on Nintendo 64. So I would go with Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 on Nintendo 64.
There you go.
I would go. I mean, No Mercy is always going to be like the defaulto for a lot of guys. I loved SmackDown versus Here Comes the Pain.
That was a good one.
That one, you started getting more into storylines, or story driven. That was kind of cool. It was more. They were getting away from like the arcade feel that they were doing with the SmackDown games and go more towards actual wrestling and storyline, and that was my favorite.
Endo?
I think he's.
I'm gonna say Revenge for me.
Oh, there you go. Cool.
I mean, Revenge easily.
Goldberg, you just spear everybody.
Yeah, I'm lagging.
Constantly spearing people.
Revenge was tight. I like that one. It had Raven in it. Because World Tour was tight. WCW versus NWO World Tour was tight. Revenge was sick. I think my favorite pro wrestling. I mean, my favorite game of all time is gonna say the series Fire Pro.
Yeah, I feel you. My thing with the Fire Pro games though is just learning the buttons though. Like, that's the hardest thing for me to do, is just learn how to, you know what I'm saying, use a control scheme. Like, how long did it take you to like learn how to like
It. I mean, thankfully, because I played D, so I played the Dreamcast, the first one I played, and that one, thankfully, the guy that introduced me to it, he knew how it was, so it was basically just like timing and shit.
okay, got you. Because every time I look at it, it's just like I can't do it.
Right. If AEW, when they make they make their game, you know, if they can get Ukes behind it.
Now, they did say that Ukes is they are working on their own video game. That was the reason why they ended up leaving, you know what I'm saying, split with 2K, because 2K wouldn't let them do what they want to do anyway, so they went ahead and split. And yeah. And
everyone shit lagged up and died.
at the same
I'm over here like, am I even online right now? I don't even know what's going on. Shit.
Right. I think we still going though.
Hold on, let me pull up the Twitch, because it's just us three. Fuck.
Yeah,
It's
just us now. Yeah, fuck
cool.
Yeah.
Damn. Damn. What did he have?
Oh, yeah. About Ukes making an AEW game. I wouldn't mind that. But at the same time, though, they said they was trying to get the Aki engine to make it too, though. So I don't know. It's kind of like, which one would you prefer, though?
I mean, I like Ukes and stuff, but I'll say what will feel more comfortable would probably be that. I don't know how you pronounce the Aki, the AKI, that engine. I'd run that one over everything, personally. But I mean, to each his own, because there's a whole bunch of people that grew up on No Mercy, and WrestleMania 2000. But then there's also people that grew up on the SmackDown versus Raw games, the Uke stuff. So I mean, I can see those two heavy competition as far as like best wrestling games and the stuff that people want to.
Now they did say though that they are gonna release a WWE game, but it's not gonna be like the typical, I guess.
I think 2K is gonna be the ones behind that one, as far as it being their real shit.
Yeah, I don't think that'll be the best plan though, because honestly, like 2K19, I'll still go back and play that one. Like when 2K20 was free for the weekend, I played it, I tried it. That was 55.6 gigabytes of my life I'd never get back. So it's on sale for $20 now, and I still wouldn't even spend that on it. Like, that's how horrible it is.
Yeah, no, I'm cool. I don't really play any of the newer stuff. 2K12 was like the last one I rocked with, but other than that, I couldn't really go. Yeah.
The last one I played was the one that's to me, and I think it was the last really good one, was the one that had CM Punk on the cover.
That was 13.
Yeah, that game was amazing.
Yeah, and then it was all downhill from there.
Right.
Like,
No, I take that back. Which is the one with Finn Balor that you got like the Finn Balor figure? That's the last one I got.
ooh.
That was a PS4 one, but I can't remember what year it was.
Right.
Cause that's when NXT was at, you know what I'm saying? That's when they first put NXT in it, and it was like a big deal. Even though they still left off a whole lot of people though. Now, personally, I feel like the Nintendo GameCube wrestling games, like the Day of Reckoning and the WrestleMania 18,
Those are cool.
don't really get the love it do, because like you could break up any move, like literally.
Not a lot of people had the GameCube too, which is, I mean, compared to PlayStation, and PlayStation was killing shit. Xbox, like the OG Xbox came through, and you know, but a lot of the GameCube stuff people didn't even know existed. The Day of Reckoning, it's up there. Like if you're putting a lot of the Uke stuff up in there, I'm gonna have to put Day of Reckoning up there because Day of Reckoning had depth to it.
That's a youth game too, right?
Is it
Yeah.
Uke?
Let me see.
The Ukes game that uses the AKI engine.
It is. Holy shit. Yeah, Uke's THQ.
Wow.
Damn, that shit is hella slept on. It's ugly as shit. The one that I thought that was the worst was the WWF Raw on the Xbox original.
The graphics looked amazing, but the gameplay was hot garbage.
What was the other one? The Royal Rumble.
WrestleMania 23 too. Was it WrestleMania 20? Was it WrestleMania 20 or 20? Now,
no, it was WrestleMania 18, I think.
That was the one on GameCube, but it was like one on Xbox. I don't know if it was WrestleMania 20 or if it was WrestleMania 23.
Oh, you're right. I can't remember which one it is.
Like the gameplay was horrible, but the story was lit though. You know what I'm saying? Like Evolution them ended up like jumping you in the parking lot.
Damn. Raw was a THQ game too.
Yep.
And y'all know what I just realized? You can't even do custom entrance music no more, and you could do it back then on like the original Xbox.
Yeah, because I used to have so much music on deck, you know, with like the NBA 2K. Yeah, NBA 2K, the NFL, like you could have like the audience or the crowd noise and the arena music playing whatever you want. And then in WWF games, like back then, like you said, you could have your own entrance music and shit.
Oh shit! Because you could save it to the Xbox hard drive. That's I was like, well, you can have your own shit. I'm like, man, I don't even. I know Fire Pro does it now, but that's crazy.
Okay.
And you can't even do that now, which is sad. You know, you got Spotify. You can like, you know, save music, but you can't even have your own. Like, if y'all could now, though, what would y'all entrance music be though?
Oh shit!
When I was playing, I had Deftones. I come in the ring too.
It was always Natural Born Killers. Like that was
Mine will be 3-6 Mafia. Hit a motherfucker.
There you go.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah, I was coming out on some Easy E. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, Dr. Dre, you my boy, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, so like we were discussing earlier, like Jeremy, you know what I'm saying? We was talking about the AEW video games. We was talking about the whole Aki system. I know you're a big component of that. Now, I will say this. He is probably the best No Mercy player I've ever played against.
Did you play the modern ones?
I want to get WCW Feel the Bang. I saw a video on it recently, and it looks amazing. I just haven't had the time to like download the mod and figure out how to get it to work.
Okay.
Now, I don't know how, but he know how to reverse literally everything on all the Nintendo 64 wrestling games.
Yeah, that's because me and my homeboy, my childhood friend, we used to sit there and we used to practice the timing of every single move in the game when we were kids. And so, you know, that shit never left us. So whenever me and him still play to this day, it's usually a reversal fest. And what can I say?
Right.
If they drop a new wrestling game, I can't wait till if they drop an esports or a tournament aspect in it, because I'm definitely gonna be competing.
Just pick Undertaker.
See, I'm glad Undertaker isn't gonna be in the game.
No,
Undertaker ain't gonna worry about that. But Dustin Rhodes is in the game, so maybe we can get a 7 costume or 7 DLC.
Now,
oh man, I remember that gimmick.
Shit.
Now,
I remember that gimmick.
Now I heard you say that Jeremy is the best No Mercy player you played. Okay, now I got a rebuttal here. Jeremy is Jeremy
Sniper.
cheats. He cheats. He cheats.
I did not
Anybody
cheat.
who
Well,
thinks
that's shots fired.
Chris Benoit. Chris
That's
Benoit.
right. That's right.
Yeah,
Chris
he's
Benoit.
also banned.
How y'all gonna ban Benoit, man?
But he's banned from everything else.
Man, how y'all gonna ban him? That has nothing to do with his wrestling skill. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, man. Like, to me, when LX plays, he plays better with Benoit, but I will say this. He is very, very, very good with Mortis. When he played with Mortis one time, I was like, dude, what the? Like, he had Mortis looking like Goldberg. Mortis. Rest in peace to Chris Canyon, though.
Yeah.
Oh, indeed.
Wait till you see my Perry Saturn in No Mercy. I haven't even showed y'all that.
Is it the one where he's wearing a dress?
Nah, no dress this time. He ain't
Carrying the mop.
And yeah, I was just about to say the mop.
I remember that.
So
I remember that.
So I got a question for y'all. So on WCW versus NWO, did you guys know any like special like hidden like Easter eggs or anything?
I don't remember.
So I know one for sure.
I don't remember.
So there was one that you can do where if you played against Sting or anybody who wore face paint, and if their person had the thing where they like gouged, I guess they do something to their eyes where they like scratching it or whatever. If you do it too many times, the player's paint will start coming off and it'll TKO them automatically.
Yeah, that was in World Tour. You're right.
Yeah,
I remember the paint coming off. I didn't know you could TKO.
Yeah, you TKO them.
I can't remember who it is, but I think somebody goes to a special after they lose their face paint. I think it's the Great Muta in the Japanese version.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They had the same rumor for Revenge on the Mask Wrestlers where you could rip the mask off, but it's kind of found out it wasn't true. You won't TKO them, but you could rip the mask off. And I've never seen that. I thought it was all caps, so I was like, all right, bet. I remember looking like they were talking about what do you call it, like video game like legends, like you know how GTA had like Bigfoot, but they got one up there too. That was a trip that they brought that in there.
Yeah, I remember it was a couple other things you could do in there that was like a cheat code. So apparently, like if you played against Ric Flair and you picked Hogan would do the diamond cutter. If you press A and B at the same time to do the other person's special, you would get his special. You get like these,
right?
Yeah, because you can steal people's specials on there. Like that's crazy.
Hogan doing a diamond cutter would be funny though.
He has to work.
Attitude in Warzone.
Oh my god,
dude! Can it be like a tie for worst one?
WWF Warzone made me realize that WCW versus the World wasn't that bad of a game like I used to think it was as a kid. Because I used to hate WCW versus the World until I played Warzone, and I was like, ugh.
I'm gonna say this off the bat. Attitude had the best customization I had seen at the time because it lets you create like the thing that Bass was talking about. Like I remember, like you can create your background, your ring, your lights, the Titantron,
the entrances.
You can pay views.
Color, entrance colored lights. Actually, you're right. That was at the time. I'd say they had the best as a whole. So coming out the music and what colors and what Titantron that you wanted to use. But as far as
was dope too.
Yeah, but as far as actual customization, there's never been. I mean, as soon as I've seen it, and this includes Attitude and Warzone was Fire Pro. I mean, that game alone, that customization wise, the greatest ever.
Oh yeah, Attitude was amazing. And I remember just doing that. I was like, because you can create a pay-per-view, and it was crazy. You could set matches.
I remember that. Yep.
And I was like,
I used to do that.
And I was like, man, we would be on that like that. That was one thing we would do a lot, but it was just like you said, it was to the point where the only thing I didn't like was when they had the Royal Rumble on there on War. I think it was on Attitude. You had to do something crazy. You had to get them close to the rope just to throw them out the ring.
Yeah,
yeah, it was stupid. You couldn't clothesline them apparently.
Well, I mean, you can do it now.
I forgot which SmackDown game it was, but there was one where you could customize everything from lights, pyro, music, whenever the pyro went off, so you could time it with the music and everything. That was probably the best customization in any wrestling game.
I
Yeah,
think that was on the PS2 or 3.
yeah.
I mean, I think it was on the 3.
I think it was
Yeah.
on 3.
The 2K15, I think.
Ooh, that the one with John Cena was on the front.
Maybe. I'm trying to find it. But that was one of the best of all the wrestling games. I think that was the best overall customizations in any game.
For the WWE ones, yeah.
Yeah. For the WWE, it was like it wasn't close. Like I think that was probably for sure. But I will say this:
Yep, that was John Cena.
to me, if Revenge would have had No Mercy's capabilities, oh my god, like because Revenge for me was like that was crazy, like because they let Sting come from the top. I remember that. Like I remember one time I was playing and Sting could come from the top, and that's when they introduced like you having a manager come to the ring. Like when you pick Macho Man, it would be Miss Elizabeth, and then like I think Hogan would come out with was it Bischoff or was it Virgil? Not Virgil. Yeah. I can't remember who he came out with, but yeah, that was crazy for me. But like, yeah, Revenge for me, that's where like I thought was like the greatest thing ever because that's when WCW was like way up there. And to me, I used to play with the cruiserweights all the time. Yep. Like when me, LX, and Dom get together, we usually get the like Juventud is a cheat code on that game.
Yeah,
dude, I was
Eddie
like,
Guerrero is too.
Yeah.
So I liked Revenge, but I think the only reason why I liked No Mercy better is the storylines that you got to be put in, and then also they had it to where if you progress further in the game, you would get currency, and you would buy stuff for your entrance, and
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, then you would play forever just to unlock like The Rock's $1 million shirt or something like that.
Right.
You know, the stupidest one.
And then if you had an original copy of the game, after a while, all that hard work that you did, gone. I hated that shit, bro.
No, the one thing I used to hate was when me and a couple of my homies we used to play, and I used to let them borrow the game, and then like I had my own creative wrestler. We would like I would go back to their house and play it, right? And then all of a sudden I get on. My dude walks like a girl all of a sudden. I used to hate that, bro.
Oh, you get switched up.
Damn.
Like I had the stupidest finishing move. Like I had that stupid finish move that flop that Ric Flair does. Like that was so
That's a classic.
Yeah, that's dude. Speaking of which, like Hogan's finishing move on like that game was like stupid. Even though he has the leg drop doesn't do anything. It don't like TKO anybody or anything, so you can't really.
No, in real life, Hogan regrets having that as a finisher. He hated the leg drop now because it's jacked up his back.
Well,
was this Japanese? Was it the Axe Bomber?
Yep.
You know, it's a shame that he couldn't wrestle more Japanese style because I watched a few of his matches in Japan not that long ago, and he could actually wrestle.
Well,
He
I
actually
always
has
tell
some
people the
decent
Muda match, they freak out. They're like, "Wait, Hogan could do what?" I'm like, "Watch this. He's doing like
He was doing
Yeah.
drop
Yeah.
kicks and
It's like he did an arm drag, and you're like, what the heck?
Yeah, no, drop toe holds from Hulk Hogan always makes me laugh every time.
no, I used to. You know what's crazy? And I'm gonna ask you guys this. Like, I think he's one of the greatest like heels of all time. I don't think he's a great wrestler. But I think he's a great heel. I think he's probably like one of the least. I would say personally for me. And like I said, I'm probably the least biggest wrestling fan out of everybody in this group. But I would say for me, he's definitely one of the. I would say personally for me, 5 best heels I've ever seen. Just heel, not nothing else. Just heel.
Well, I can agree with that. The thing with Hogan though was when he was a heel, he made it cool though. He was getting people cheering for him too.
he was so good at the heel that he got cheered for it. Kind of like Stone Cold.
But the thing that made him such a great heel was when he turned heel at that Bash of the Beach. No one saw that coming, and he was a face for so long.
Yeah.
The fact that he turned into a heel, that was like the biggest hits of professional wrestling at that time, period.
I think Bret Hart was an underrated heel. In fact, I think he's one of the best heels ever, just because of how he did it. Because he was a heel in one country and a face in another country, and I ain't seen that shit before or since.
Yeah.
That was good
And
writing. They made it really good when you had North America versus anybody else, but the fact that the WWE at the time traveled and they did show a lot of shows up in Canada, especially like a lot of the old Stampede um, area places. Like it's just that was solid, and it made Brett really dope too. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people would say that he doesn't have a lot of charisma, but I mean, all those pissed off promos, I thought those were fantastic.
I think when he was a baby, when he was working babyface, he had his basic cookie, babyface promos, but then when he went heel, I don't know, it was just those promos were so scathing and to the point that he sounded real believable on the mic at that time.
Well, that's probably most time, like most wrestlers, they like being heel because your sole purpose is to go out and make people mad. And that's a lot easier than making people cheer for you. When Brett was cutting those promos, he was just letting loose. And like you
Yeah,
said, as a face, it was just a cookie cutter type, yay, I'm the good guy, I'm gonna go out and beat the bad guy type promos.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say, like, I don't know, Dom, like, I know you're really big into like heels and stuff. Like, who would you say, like, for you, like, if you could pick one heel that you could run with, who would it be?
Mine would probably be a manager though, and be Bobby the Brain Heenan. I just always loved Bobby the Brain Heenan, dog. And I'm just speaking personally because I got to see it in person, you know what I'm saying, at the Sportatorium, but I was always a big fan of like Gentleman, you know what I'm saying, Chris Adams and Gino, you know what I'm saying, Hernandez. So, and the Fabulous Freebirds. Like I said, I'm just speaking personally because I got to see all of this, the whole Von Erich situation down here in Texas it was crazy. So, but if I had to choose one out of all those, though, I would go Bobby the Brain Heenan, but wrestling-wise, I would go Gino Hernandez, though.
Good choice.
Gino had some bad heat. Yeah, that's a good choice.
That's a really good choice, actually. I'm shocked that you were one of the first people I've heard in a while say Gino. That's crazy.
So what about you, Base? Because I mean, you gotta say if you with your promotion, if you could take any person from any prime to be your heel, who would it be?
Probably Terry Funk. Terry Funk was believable to me. Like every time I heard his shit, I was like, he'll beat the shit out of anybody.
Who's probably still wrestling to this day.
Yeah, like I don't think people. I think Terry Funk is very underrated, and I mean that because he's not brought up enough. Just in general, I think Terry Funk has been through the most decades, and it was always around when the shit was cracking, whether it would be Japan and America. And then Terry Funk helped build ECW too. But when you go look at his stuff with Dusty or Jerry Lawler or any of the territories, expect like Florida or whatever, he adapts to every single situation as a heel or a face. I think Terry Funk to me is the greatest of all time.
Wow. On the side, what a lot of people don't know is he was actually in WCW versus the World.
Yeah.
He had a different name, right?
Yeah, I can't remember different name, I believe.
Yeah, I can't remember his name in the game, but let me find it.
See, when it comes,
I think you meant World Tour. I apologize. I never played First of the World. My bad.
His name was Major Tom in the game.
It's when I think I have to agree with CWY on the messaging. Ric Flair, when he was at his pinnacle point as a heel, he elevated the faces that he went up against. Ric Flair could have made you cheer for Charles Manson. That's how great of a heel he was back in the late 70s, early 80s. And if you want to see like the best heel promo work, the promos he was doing with Dusty Rhodes, that was phenomenal. But I have to agree with CW White. My favorite heel will always be Ric Flair.
What about you, Enrique?
Roddy Piper might have been that's arguable.
Right, look, he said it right there. Roddy Piper is money. Right there, that was my choice. Roddy Piper would be my choice.
On the mic, Piper. No one could touch the mic on the mic as a heel. In ring work, Ric Flair would just do things that would just make you just hate him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that, Dan. That's a good one. So another question that CW White did have when he was talking about beefs, like when it comes to like obviously wrestling beefs and stuff. Did you guys have any in particular like cool wrestling beefs that you can remember?
Undertaker versus Mankind was so nasty. I don't even want to get. I'm not even.
That's a whole nother discussion right there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, like I discussed earlier, like I said, Sportatorium, the Von Airs versus the Fabulous Freebirds, like that was like people literally really like want to kill the Freebirds. Like when you see Michael P.S. Hayes outside of Sportatorium, you want to do something to him. But that, I mean, as much as we talk crap about John Cena, Randy Orton and John Cena, they had a pretty good, solid rivalry. You know what I'm saying? Throughout a long
John
decade.
Cena versus Edge, also.
Edge
one right
versus
there.
Matt Hardy because it was real life.
That was brutal.
I would say before it got corny when Sting was going at the NWO. Like
being took on everybody.
I agree with that one. I was gonna say the greatest two. Sting and NWO is up there because they waited an entire year before they touched, and that was Super Brawl. I remember that.
Yep.
And they didn't know it was just Sting coming in, fucking everybody up, and they built it for a year straight, and that was cool. The other one was Taz and Sabu. If you fuck with each other or whatever, like, but it is what it is. But like, they didn't touch for a year either, and they only had monthly shows. But you could tell, like, because you believe Taz will kill somebody, and then you have Sabu, who's fucking crazy too. And then every time they jump to the ring or whatever, like, and then how it popped up, they'd hit the lights because I know ECW always did that shit. They'd hit the lights and turn them back on, and somebody be in the ring. Sabu was in there with Taz, and people lost it. And that's what it was. Yeah, no, barely legal. That was like the first.
Yep.
And that match, that rivalry, if it didn't have that rivalry, ECW wouldn't be chanting ECW like we are. I firmly believe that rivalry right there is
that made ECW. You're right about that. One rivalry I think that was one of the best, if not one of the craziest ones back in the day was Hulk Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter when Sergeant Slaughter turned against the U.S.
That's my first.
Oh my god!
First pay-per-view ever. If I'd never seen WrestleMania 7, I probably would never been on wrestling. Swear to God.
Man.
I think the top two, bringing up my childhood, was Macho Man versus Hulk Hogan. The Mega Powers. I always say, childhood you liked Hulk Hogan, but when you became an adult, you realized that Macho Man may have been in the right. But,
when you grow up, the real story comes out, kind of.
Right. Yeah. And I think the one beef that changed the industry was, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
That I think that rivalry pretty much wrecked kayfabe in general, in a sense.
Yep.
Because, but then again, you also got the birth of probably one of the greatest heels, Mr. McMahon, and brought up the best beef in wrestling history, in my opinion, Austin versus McMahon.
That was
a butterfly effect, it should be a lot different.
Yeah, I agree with y'all on that. See, that was the thing. Like somebody was also in the comments, and the comments not popping up for him, but he was asking like when Sting was going against the NWO, we also need to give a lot of credit to Scott Hall for making Sting be that Sting. Because without Scott Hall, that Sting doesn't exist. Because
he helped create that persona.
Like that's like to me, I thought it was just cool because like Bass said, like he was just sitting in the top of the freaking like dome every freaking night in an arena, just standing there, and like they would be like, "What is that? What is he doing?" Like he was like,
and that would end the show. Actually, that would always end the show. Was him in the rafters, and then they just cut off.
I haven't watched WWE in probably 3 years. Legitimately, like I can't watch Raw. I only watch clips. Do they stopped completely with doing cliffhangers? Like nothing crazy happens at the end of the shows no more.
I still watch it. They've kind of gotten away with really classic storylines and storytelling, and they just do like the same matches over and over, but trying to force a storyline in it, and it just doesn't feel right.
Okay, I was always on it, like, because again, we grew up in a different era, so I'm not going to act like my opinion holds weight. but I was always looking at why would I want to watch next week.
Mhm.
Now it has a knock to it.
Mhm.
Make me I'm like, oh, I can't wait because everyone knew like Monday you had Raw and Nitro, crazy shit happened. Tuesday you were at school talking about it, and then
Yeah, fuck Monday Night Football.
Sunday night you're like, okay, pay per view, cool. Now you got to watch the fallout of it on Monday.
dude.
It was worth waiting for.
Dude, because I remember like the whole thing about Sting joining the NWO. It was like they made it like you said. I remember they closed that show before that, and it was like people didn't think he was going to join like the Wolfpack. It was like he was going to join the NWO, and then like the next show, he's like literally he does a little fake shirt thing, and then he beats up the whole NWO, and he's in the Wolfpack. Like I just thought that was it was crazy. Like I agree with you because things used to happen all the time. Like right as the match ends, and then they'll show that caption at the bottom, and then people is like, you'll find out on Thursday on Thunder what happened, or you'll find out on Nitro. But speaking of like factions and stuff, did you guys enjoy like the NWO and the things of that nature? Because obviously NWO, then we had the NWO Wolfpack, but then it got out of hand. There was the LWO and different factions after that.
Shout out to the Blue World. BWO, baby.
The LWO.
That
NWO
Shout out to
saved
them.
WCW and killed WCW at the same
Yep.
time.
Yeah.
Or Kevin Nash did.
But when he
think
became the
that-
booker, it was
Shout out
bad.
to the finger poke of doom.
right.
Yeah.
When Jeff Jarrett was running the NWO, I knew it was a wrap.
That
Two
after
words.
the Sting
Vince
one,
Russo.
I think NWO died after that. You had one dude literally punking the entire clip, and then he beats Hogan 1, 2, 3.
Jeezy said it best. He said NWO was straight until it had 61 members.
I
And
like
they had
it.
Disco Inferno.
Outside NWO, because what other? Because you remember there was a lot of factions back then.
It was
Yeah, it
you had
was.
the biker gang. You had
Ravens Flock.
Mhm.
Ravens Flock. You had Nation of Domination. You had all that type of shit.
Los Boricua.
So
What
if
was
you
the-
took
what was the
NWO
odd
out,
ones?
what was your favorite one?
The Truth Commission.
I would say for me, I would say the Flock, and then I was also for some odd reason I used to enjoy like I was as a kid I was like weird about like WWF stuff, but like the oddities used to have me laughing all the time.
There it is. The oddities
yeah.
make you
The oddities
make
are
you the
crazy.
oddities. They had the best theme song, man.
Oh yeah, they had SA Clown Posse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. ACP.
Yeah.
They even had them come to the ring a couple of times with them too, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly.
From that era, I was a triple threat mark. I got
Yeah.
Candido, Storm, Douglas, and Bam. Bam Bam to me is top 5 on any
Yeah.
list. I think Bam Bam people give him no credit. But if you, I was probably one of the only cats that thought DX was corny.
I love DX. I got
I
suspended
like DX.
so many times telling the teacher to suck it.
Yeah,
Both iterations, like
I never thought they were dope.
That was dabbing in our day.
Like, because I was still in middle school when all that shit was happening. So
Okay.
Me too.
So it's within the era. So like that's what I'm saying. At that time I'm supposed to be telling everyone in the world to suck it. I was watching it, and I was like, man, like Michaels is dope, Triple H is dope, but I was just like, man, all they do is tell people to suck it, but they don't really be kicking nobody ass. Like, don't be, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't. No one can tell me off the top of their head a solid like DX match. You know what I'm saying? I think the only time that anyone ever brings up DX as far as something that dope happened was I think when pushed Chance on Charlie and Cactus Jack off the ramp with the garbage can. Like no one tell me like what was a dope moment for DX other than like the tank and shit. You know what I mean?
Like just involving them with Stone Cold, that SmackDown episode where he dropped on the bus. I think that was memorable. But
then they showed up to WCW one time. Y'all remember that?
The tank.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. The tank.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to take away anything from them. I just couldn't feel them to be like that's bad. They're bad as fuck. You know what I mean?
Well, when they first started, when they were feuding with Sergeant Slaughter, there were some funny moments in there.
I love Sergeant. Like, why are they talking shit to Sergeant like that? He ain't even doing nothing.
Well, he was like
they had the protective mask when he talked to them.
But it wasn't. It was weird because Sarge. Because I remember at the time that always come out every once in a while, put the Cobra Clutch on people. There was never any heel turn to make Sergeant turn into the hall monitor character that they wanted him to be. You know what I'm saying? So that's for me. I was like, damn, I grew up watching Sarge, but I don't. But that's me. I'm a minority. People love DX. Let's not take nothing away from them. It's just like little things for me. I was like, wait, huh?
Nah, I would say like I agree with you because now that I kind of like obviously we're older now. I thought Road Dogg is corny to me now. Like that was really corny.
They'll be humping
Oh,
me.
you didn't know?
The little shuffle punch he did as a finisher.
Yeah, like come on, man. Like,
I would go back and watch fucking the entire Raw from that era. Like, have you watched? I challenge anyone to go watch Raw, like 4 episodes, for an entire month cycle. There's a lot of shit that stank on that thing, man, because it was
Talking
really
about from the Attitude Era.
Thank
oh,
you.
Oh
attitude.
yes,
It was opening
yes. Checking out the network.
the crazy shit that you get at the opening and the end. That's all that mattered. Everything in between, I was like, this is mid. This is really not good. Didn't age well. Like, not.
See,
Yeah.
the one thing
Attitude
I
Era
like
was
about
overrated.
then versus the product now is it felt like the mid carders all had like shit to do.
yeah.
Like
They're
I was
involved
when
somewhere.
Takamichinoku got his penis cut off. Or no, Val Venus was about to get his
Chopping
penis.
your PP? Yeah, I remember.
Chop,
that.
chop.
Time.
Nah, who was it? Was it Mae Young or who was that had the baby?
Mae Young.
Yep.
Oh, the
Yeah.
hand. Oh yeah, it was Mae Young.
The hand baby.
I stopped watching WWF
Elf, yeah, it was Elf then.
2000,
Yeah.
2001.
I stopped watching right after they merged with WCW. I think I watched shortly after
Probably
that.
you and I watched like a half a year, and then I was like, I'm out. I didn't watch
I'm
wrestling.
a mark. I still watch it.
I still watch it. I would say
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I still watch it.
I've seen the terrible times.
I just
The
man,
John
like,
Cena era.
dude, you know what else is really bad when WCW? I hate to admit it, but like, remember when they had Master P on there? That was fucking terrible.
I hate
bro.
rap.
The No Limit Soldiers.
Yeah,
They were feuding with was it Kurt Hennig
Yep.
Yeah, the West
and
Rap
somebody
crap.
else, and they were trying to have like dual music videos or something.
the
They
West
came out
Texas
that rap is
Rednecks.
crap video.
Yeah.
They had Kiss Group too, right? Wasn't there a
Yeah.
Kiss came out?
Yeah.
They had what was that MMA fighter? Was it Tank? What
Tank
was his
Abbott.
name?
Tank Abbott.
Abbott. Yes.
Mhm.
And he was coming around just saying he wanted to knock out anybody, and then turned into a dancer or something. That was terrible.
Nah, and speaking of dancers, Disco Inferno and Alex Wright were terrible. Oh my god!
All right.
Yeah.
Time out.
Alex Wright
You
was
know what? I'm gonna play devil's advocate on that, Hendo, because while they were terrible, I think they were a better gimmick in hindsight when you compare them to Fandango.
Yeah, well, him with the fashion police has been entertaining, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick up for my boy Disco Inferno. All right, Hendo.
Oh god!
I don't know,
He
man.
was
Maybe a
hilarious.
tie. I
He
don't
was
know.
entertaining. It was when he would come to the ring dancing and La Parca came out of nowhere and hit him with a chair. That's entertainment right there.
No,
That was
Now,
funny.
I mean, I will say this though. Disco Inferno was cool enough to be sticking around the 50 Animals. Y'all remember that faction with Eddie Guerrero, Ray
Yep.
Mysterio, when he had the mask off, Conan and all that. So, I mean,
Yeah.
they let him hang around. Shout out to Hoover Guerrero, too.
dude, the most random NWO member ever is Stevie Ray.
Virgil.
Stevie Ray was
Virgil
in NWO,
Virgil
bro.
would be the one for me. Yes, Virgil.
Yes, Virgil.
What did he
I'll
do?
take a picture with
Mine's
you.
is IRS.
Oh my god, he was.
I forgot IRS was in there actually.
Or when you brought in Dusty Rhodes for no reason.
Yep.
Dude,
that?
rest in peace. Rest in peace to what's name? It's like the original NWO had Rick Rude in it, right? He was original.
Rick Rude,
yeah.
Rick Rude's NWO, like he was original. So I
And
remember
in the DX.
Rick Rude, I think it was Rick Rude, but because they taped Raw back then,
Yep.
and Nitro was live. Rick Rude showed up on Nitro while he was being taped and was on Monday Raw.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was
DiBiase as the Bunny Man. That was one of my favorites right there.
Dude, like
I've
that.
seen
And,
somebody
like,
say Ted DiBiase.
and it was so weird because like it was cool how the NWO were like rebels, but then like you said, when they started, like it was cool when they had Macho, Kurt Hennig, and all them, and they had a few guys. But then next thing you know it, I look up, everybody's in the NWO. I'm like,
The
everybody.
Nasty Boys.
Oh my god,
The Giant.
well, they got in because Hogan's best friends with Brian Knobbs, so that's how they pretty much got in.
Do y'all remember Horace Hogan?
Oh my
Yes.
god. Yes, man.
He did. Horace Hogan did. He did deathmatch shit for a minute in Japan. He was at he was on like an old FMW tape. He was in FMW for a minute.
Oh wow.
What's his
I
name?
remember.
Really?
And dude, you know who like another one like who I thought was cool like when NWO had like X-Pac when he was 6, I thought that was cool because they had the Outsiders, the whole Outsiders thing,
Right.
which I
And
thought that was dope.
he fit in that too. Yeah, he
Yeah,
really
yeah,
fit
they
with
all fit
that.
together. Even though
Yeah.
Kevin Nash, speaking of
Yeah.
like,
See, from 91 to 92, he was in neutral. I mean, he started in Japan.
yeah,
That's
1, 2,
crazy
3.
as fuck. I didn't know that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Remember that promo that X-Pac hit when he first got into WWF after leaving WCW, just going off on Bischoff and Hogan?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was saying that my friends Hall and Nash would be here, but no, Hogan's got his
Oh,
head so far up Bischoff's ass and all that other
Oh
stuff.
god, dude,
Yeah, it was a killer promo.
I know one that was funny to me, and Don brought this up one time. We were talking, and I remember like innocent bystander situation. Remember when Kevin Nash made fun of Arn Anderson, and Arn Anderson wanted to kill him? Like that shit was so funny to me, bro. Like Arn Anderson was like pissed about that.
Mr.
Like,
Good old blue collar Arn Anderson. I never cared
Mhm.
for Arn Anderson. I respect him, but I never cared for him.
you know,
Best
one of my,
spine buster in the game.
Oh,
you know
shit.
who's one of
Yes,
my
that
favorite
is.
wrestlers that nobody ever really talks about? Dean Malenko.
I love
Man of
Dean.
a
Oh
thousand
yeah, I
volts.
love
Malenko,
Dean Malenko.
yes.
I'm a Dean
I
Malenko
love
man.
talking about Dean. Dean Malenko's the shit. That's
Yes.
Yeah.
I never really hear people like because I guess because like
True wrestling fans, you do.
yeah,
Mhm.
I'm about to say.
and I heard he's like the
I'm talking
nicest
about
guy.
Dean Malenko. Shit.
He's
I heard he's
working
like
in
the nicest guy
AEW
ever.
right now, right?
Dude,
Yeah,
his
he's with ABW. Yeah.
Yeah.
his feud with Jericho pretty much
Oh,
set
he
the
might be in the
cruiserweight
game.
division
Speaking of
in
which, Jericho had
WCW.
the greatest like intros to me. That WWF when he got there and he came out of nowhere and nobody knew about it. Like that was crazy.
The
Then he went
countdown,
toe
the
to, and then they put
counted.
him toe to toe against The Rock on the mic on his first night in WWF.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Shout out to Jericho, man. And see, that's crazy about WCW how they had all those guys because they were considered small. They stuck them in like cruiserweights and like lower matches, and all those guys ended up being champion, including
that's because they became all about the NWO. That's why I said it made
Hey.
WCW and killed it at the same time.
dude. Like, and I know nobody wants to talk about Chris Benoit, but Chris Benoit was a great wrestler. So
Yeah, he's one of my top 5
was.
favorite wrestlers of all time.
I was a huge Benoit fan. His matches with Kurt Angle, best wrestling matches you had ever seen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
and by the way, I think can everybody agree here Goldberg is overrated really bad? Do we all agree?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Man,
But what standpoint though? Like it's weird because like people say like okay, they'll praise Hulk Hogan all day but say he can't wrestle, but it's okay. They won't do the same with Goldberg.
I'm an
For
equal
me-
opportunist with that.
I think Goldberg had a more believable moveset than let's say the Ultimate Warrior, but you know, I still hold against Goldberg that Bret Hart is my favorite wrestler of all time. And
I
you know,
get that. I'm not
because-
even taking that. What I'm trying to say is that when you talk about overrated, what are we talking about? Are we talking about his career? Because his career is I mean, you can't argue fact. I don't even like Goldberg, so I'm just saying, like, is he just not fun to watch right now, or was he not fun to watch then? Because he
I
was,
think the
then
way
and now.
damn,
I mean, to me,
that's
I
fine.
think his
No, that's
momentum.
okay.
I think his momentum was a big deal to a lot of people. How he just came along and it was like he was kind of forced on a lot of someone said forced in the comments. He was
I
forced.
agree with that.
He kind
I
of got
mean, what was
forced.
he like 182 and 0 before
Then
he
he
actually
went
lost?
Kevin Nash.
something like that.
Before Kevin Nash happened.
Yeah, before Kevin Nash tased him. Like that's
But
the
he
Yeah,
was
biggest
like-
selling
thing.
shit out. That's what I'm trying to say. Like he was actually selling shit out. I mean, to go ahead and do what he did for a Monday night Nitro in the Georgia Dome. That's not to say like it's not like John Cena where people say John Cena was forced down our throats. Well, I mean, I can agree with Goldberg being one of those people where they were forced, but people didn't reject it. People were on
No, my problem. I thought maybe for me, he wasn't a great wrestler. Obviously, he was a terrible wrestler apparently because he almost killed Bret Hart basically.
And
and
Kenyon.
he,
Yeah. And to me, he had a cool moveset though. Like his finishing moves probably one of the best finishing moves ever.
I mean, but that was it though. He had like 2 moves. It was a
Yeah.
spear.
Yeah,
He get hit.
that
He
full
get hit,
body,
run
that
off to the
full body
ropes.
suplex, that side by whatever that suplex he did. Yeah,
A
Well,
I
gorilla
think I'm looking at it
press
from a different standpoint, but I kind of see what you guys are talking about. He didn't have a crazy moveset. Why was he pushed so hard?
So I'll say this. I think this is the thing. Career-wise, he's not overrated. But if you just going by wrestling-wise, I would say he's overrated. If that makes
I
sense.
mean,
Like you can't
would you
knock his
pay
career.
money to go see him? Is like even back then, would you go pay money to go see Goldberg?
I
No,
did.
I was.
I mean,
You did?
didn't he pin Brock
Why?
Lesnar
I
in
mean,
like 5 seconds?
Well, I mean, not. I'm just saying, like,
no.
if you
My
think
thing
back
is
on.
like if WC because I like WCW back then. WCW came through. He's part of the package. Yeah, I want to see this shit. I want to see Goldberg because no one was doing shit with NWO as far as beef goes until Sting.
Yeah.
And then after Sting, there was no one either. Sting joined the NWO, whatever.
To DDP, Diamond Dallas Page.
Oh my
DDP was
God! Shout
doing
out
his
to
thing.
DDP.
He was going. He was beefing with like Hall and Nash.
Macho Man.
That was what was more memorable in my opinion. All I'm trying to figure out is this. You have to differentiate. Like, okay, was he overrated as far as his in-ring work, or was he overrated as far as career goes? That's all I'm saying. Because when you say it's over, I look at it as a whole, right? Like, the people pay to see him, absolutely, it was the biggest thing going at that time. But like, if you look at like, would you pay to see him wrestle for real, like in a how can I say it? Like, put a Dean Malenko, some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Same aspect as we look at Dean or Jericho or somebody like that. You see what I'm saying? No, I wouldn't. You know what I mean? That's why I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out what's the difference between the two.
Mine is that's how I look at it. He's overrated in ring wise.
You put him in the Ultimate Warrior tier.
Damn,
Basically,
that's crazy.
minus the cocaine.
I'm like, I used to be a huge fan of Warrior, but like now I can't stand it. But I'm just like, damn, that's crazy.
But we all, as kids, though, we thought that was like, even I'm not gonna lie, I thought Hulk Hogan was the man when I was a kid because it was like eat your vitamins and drinking it like this. Because when you get older, like you said, when you get older, stuff doesn't look like Road Dogg is very corny to me. Like Road Dogg is super corny to me. Like guys like that, like Macho Man became my favorite when I got older. Like Chris said, like Macho Man just became like because you kind of like understand this whole thing, and it's like, man, Macho Man like. To me, he's one of the 5. To me, he's in my top 5 all time.
I was about to say, what if we go around, right?
Yeah.
What I don't give a fuck if it's heel or not. Just it doesn't even have to be popular opinion. Your top 3 ever.
Wrestlers
ever. When you look at every category, who are the top 3 for your personal opinion, personal.
That had to give me a minute right there.
Yeah.
I will automatically put in. I'm gonna automatically put in Bret Hart.
Y2J is one for me. Chris Jericho definitely is one for me. He's still
Undertaker. Best gimmick.
Jericho, Shawn Michaels, AJ Styles are my top 3.
Oh.
Mine, Bret Hart number 1, Shawn Michaels number 2, and number 3 is hard. I'm gonna have to go with Mr. Perfect.
I think I would go Bret Hart. I would, as much as I know a lot of people don't like. Well, I mean, everybody kind of puts him in his top 5, but I like Shawn Michaels. I think Shawn Michaels is in my top 3. I will put Shawn Michaels in my top 3.
My 3, no particular order: Taker, Flair, and in ring, Kurt Angle.
Kurt's fine.
Hey,
shout out to Kurt Angle.
Yeah,
Kurt Angle's definitely. Kurt Angle's basking up. Yeah.
I don't even think we can call him underrated. We all know how good he is.
I think the thing with him is like he came in right after, like, I mean, not right after, but he was right there doing the thing. But like, he's probably obviously he's one of the best wrestlers ever for many reasons, even professionally. Like he did it for real. Like he was into that. I would say
he broke his freaking neck.
Who would you say is your top 3 underrated that may not get mentioned much?
Lance Storm, Chris Candido, and those 2. I don't even need a third. Those 2 right there. Lance Storm and Chris Candido are the most 2 underrated people I've ever seen. Mike Awesome.
Christian for me, if we're gonna call Christian, if I can call Christian underrated, Christian for me.
Christian was winning titles like everywhere.
He was winning titles, but I mean,
Nobody really talk about his singles career though.
Yeah, like did you really care about it?
He won the WWE title or the Big Gold. He won that.
But that was
The
because
big-
like Edge retired though, so you know.
Yeah,
He
like
still got it. Nah, don't do that. He still got it though. You know what I'm saying? People be retiring all the time. People don't get belts because of it. People
but
say
I think he deserves more recognition than we give him.
okay.
I mean, if we can put that out there.
Jerry Lynn is one of mine. You know,
Jerry
that
Lynn
many questions out
absolutely
there.
up
I'm gonna put Raven. I'm gonna put Raven in mine's underrated. Raven was underrated.
Yep.
I
And
think
he sold that character really well too. By the way, in WCW,
He still
that loner attitude, like
quote the Raven, nevermore.
bro, like that
Raven-
whole.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that whole flock, like Billy Kidman,
Yep.
all those guys.
Sick Boy and all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
I was going to put Billy Kidman in. That guy in the cruiserweight division, and he could mix it with like the faster cruiserweights with Lucha Libre, and a more of like a cruiserweight / power style. Billy Kidman, he was pretty
He could
good.
go.
He was the definition of what American cruiserweight was, light heavyweight. Him and Dean Malenko definitely off rip. I like because Dean didn't work Japan, he didn't work American style, and then I'd say Kidman did the same thing. But yeah, no, I think big men don't get the good big men because everyone talks hella shit. Look, man, we like people that aren't hella big now because we grew up also we grew up on cruiserweights. So anyone that was through that era that watched, of course, was gonna love Ring of Honor, PWG, all that shit because of how fast it was. I mean, if it wasn't for cruiserweights, we would never have AJ and respected the fuck out of him before. But I say when you have good big men, I always say that they're underrated. I always say Bam Bam is definitely on that list.
Yes,
absolutely.
Regardless,
Bam Bam scared
he main evented a Mania against Lawrence Taylor and made it look deep.
Yeah, now I still remember that like it was yesterday too. That was the build up to that was great too.
He was in WCW, he was in WWF, but he still transitioned. He put people over? He made Spike Dudley look amazing with the David and Goliath thing. He went over for that. RVD matches. I'm telling you, Bam Bam.
He did a hell of a cartwheel too.
Yeah, shit, man. I don't care anybody. Bam Bam, because I didn't answer my question that I asked y'all, but Bam Bam is my top 3 of all time.
Now that you mentioned that, I want to make a replacement. I did say Mr. Perfect was in my top 3, but now that you mentioned Big Man, I got to take him out and put Vader at number 3.
Yeah, Vader.
And I love Vader, but like Bam Bam, Vader was sick, but Vader was like he was hard to work with for a lot of people.
Yeah, he's real stiff.
Yeah, Sting talked about that.
Yeah. Well, Shawn Michaels, same thing. You know what I'm saying? But
Flair said the same thing too.
But in Japan, he was bullying everybody. I mean, if he allowed it, cool. He tried Stan Hansen and got his eye knocked out in the middle of a match. Like,
I remember that.
Stan Hansen knocked the shit out of him. Like, it wasn't a joke. But like, yeah, like, because we're talking about video games, Vader is the only person in Fire Pro that's like the highest cranked person when it sets out the default. Like the joke is face Vader and Fire Pro is automatic critical. Like you automatically get knocked out. It's just crazy.
Yep, and then Virtual Pro Wrestling 1 and 2, he's the strongest wrestler in the game, and his moveset, like just to name a few, he's got a power bomb, he's got a choke slam, and he's got a bear hug, and he's got every single power move you can think of, and he has a jackhammer.
You know what big wrestler they tried to push really hard, but like weird shit always happened to him. Fucking Psycho. No, fucking Psycho Sid.
Oh my god, man! Psycho Sid when he came off the
baseball
road.
or some shit. Like he wanted to go play softball.
Yeah, and then he broke his. Remember when he tried to do that little? What did he tried to do on time when he broke his leg?
He tried to come
off. He tried to do an axe handle. He told them before the match because they were wanting to try to do some top rope moves and stuff like that. And I think it was against Scott Steiner. And from what I read in the story, Sid did not want to do that. He's like, I don't go off the top rope at all. And he wasn't even on the top. He was on the second turnbuckle. And he was just coming down with an axe handle. And then ankle, gone.
By the way, I'm going to say this off the bat. We didn't mention him at all, but when it came to Mike stuff, Scott Steiner Oh my god.
Oh my god, dude! Shout out to Scott Steiner.
Shout out
The
to Steiner
TNA
Man,
math promo. Oh my
the
god.
best. Steiner Man.
Dude, it didn't matter what it was. He can make a promo out of anything.
The big bad booty daddy.
Dog, Big Papa Pump. Bro, Big Papa Pump was crazy. He had a cool finishing move too.
The Steiner recliner.
Steiner
Yeah.
recliner.
Screwdriver was the best one.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
That's
But you can't get that now though. You'll probably
Orange
kill
Fresh.
somebody.
That's just wild.
Have y'all seen his promos from TNA?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
If you haven't, I highly suggest you do it. It is hilarious what he talks about.
Because he don't even know what he be talking about.
He doesn't know. He just rambles on, man. I swear to
Or
you.
his promos going off on Ric Flair when he was in WCW. Like he hated Ric Flair.
I think he still do.
He still does.
Oh, I'm pretty positive.
They had him on some kind of thing. I saw him like recently. Obviously he's not as big as he was, and he was talking about that he hates Ric Flair. I think it had something to do with that plane ride from hell that everybody talks about.
Oh, the story, Plane Ride from Hell. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, when apparently Ric Flair like was going around showing his penis to everybody.
Jesus.
Yeah. Well, you guys, I gotta jump off.
Okay, man.
It was good talking with you guys. I gotta jump off, man.
All right, brother.
man.
All right, man.
Yes, sir.
Peace out. See you guys later.
Yes, sir.
Have a good one, man.
I didn't even ask that earlier. What time do y'all roll into?
All right, man. We can do another 10 minutes, man. Because you brought a good question. I like that. You're underrated. I like your
underrated, man. One person that I think is underrated to me was Mark Marrow. I'll excuse Mark Marrow, Mark. No pun intended.
Yeah, he got screwed though because
Sable.
Didn't they only want Sable, and they didn't want anything to do with him? And weren't they actually together? I believe.
No, they were actually together.
They were together.
Yeah, they were actually together.
It was.
I'm trying to think who else, man. Like when you mentioned,
I feel like Kane as a big man don't really just get all the credit he deserves to get. I mean,
man, I don't know about that, but
I mean,
he ain't been ripping shit off ripping doors off of cages and shit.
Because I feel like once he like took the mask off and he said Jim Ross on fire, like that was some of the things I've ever seen.
That was a whole different other Kane right there, man. And I think I would enjoy seeing more of that back in the day.
By the way, we do need to
just me.
I do want to give some love to Diamond Dallas Page as well. I think he doesn't get because he was an older wrestler when he really got good, like or not good, or just get like famous, I guess. Because he talked about that.
Early. Was he?
He was a bouncer,
late 30s.
Bouncer,
yeah. He said he didn't really get like his thing going until like he was in his 40s already. Like he was already in his 40s. He was like, but what he did with Scott Hall recently was a great thing too. So like,
and Jake the Snake Roberts.
Oh my God! Speaking of which, yeah.
Oh my God, his Jake the Snake in
another great heel.
That's what you put. People say like Jake Snake Robert, Scott Hall, and Raven. And those three, they're like they're like a kind of category of their own, like a wrestler type thing as far as psychology goes.
So Scott Hall, he's another great one, man. He was a great heel. His promo when he was at that place and he threw that food at that waiter.
Oh my God!
You know, it didn't take me until I was older to realize that Scott Hall or Razor Ramon was a Miami drug lord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was based.
It was based off of Scarface and all that, man.
Yeah, like one day when I was older, I was like, "Wait a minute, man! Razor Ramon had that weight."
That's where the razor came from.
Yep.
Now, that ladder match with him and Shawn Michaels, man, WrestleMania.
Dude,
the ladder match and the SummerSlam one was great too.
And had one. I love his finishing move, by the way. The outside of his edge. Yeah. Like, and speaking of finishing moves, Dom always brings this up. But the Canadian Destroyer?
Oh, the Canadian Destroyer before it got oversaturated like it is now was like still my favorite. The one done by Petey Williams though.
Petey Williams and TNA. I still get scared whenever somebody tries to do one of those. I will freak out for them.
Now I'm seeing big dudes do it off the top rope, so it's kind of oversaturated now. But yeah, Canadian Destroyer.
The funniest shit. The funniest shit. Speaking of Goldberg, remember that time when Goldberg put fucking Big Show in the jackhammer? Like he literally lifted him in the air. Like bro, he didn't even look.
Man,
like bro, he had to be retarded strong, bro. Like Big Show said he didn't even give him a lift off. He said he just got lifted off the mat. He was like, "What the hell?" And he held him in the air. I've never seen that before in my life. Like, but shout out to Big Show too, man. Because like I remember when he was in WCW, like that was a big deal. Like it was cool
The
to
Giant.
see him. Shout out to the long hair.
Paul White. Oh yeah, when he was the Giant.
Yeah.
When he first came.
Dude, he was so famous.
They
They put him on this game, bro.
Bro, you have the shout out to you, Chris.
I got all of them,
when
bro.
all this stuff is over.
I got all of them, bro. Like he already Jeremy know. Only ones I ain't got is them New Japan Wrestling ones.
That's dope, man.
I've got all of them too. All of them. All the AK. Speaking of the wrestling games, if AEW is making the AKI Wrestling Engine game, like everybody's thinking, what are the chances that we'll get legends like Dean Malenko and Jake the Snake Roberts and stuff like that?
I think very high because I think that'll be the whole thing. Like, dude, like you know how many wrestlers? Like I see like sports people, they talk about it all the time. But wrestlers, that is the one game they always talk about. Like
everyone sat in and played it. That shit came out like right the summertime, man. That shit was crazy.
Dude, like I told somebody, man, if somebody had the money or the pool to like, say they just like remastered it, like WWE, they made it WWE No Mercy. They remastered the game and put it out. I promise you right now, it will sell out everywhere.
Put it on the Switch. That would be it.
No,
no. Oh, because you don't have one. Is that what this is?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm not trying to say anything. I'm just saying like, but for the Switch, it would be. I think you could do that. You could really do that.
Me and Don were watching a mod one day. A dude, I think LX was with us when we watched that mod. That dude had that mod where he had like all the wrestlers and stuff, and it was like Revenge. It was like some kind of Revenge 2000 or whatever. Like it was like a random Revenge, and it was like it had all the wrestlers on there, and it looked really good. And I just with today's engine, I mean, I don't care for the graphics. Like hell, I'll take them blocks. Like
it could be Nintendo 64 graphics, and I'll still play the shit out of it.
Yeah, like that. See, to me, that's where they messed up at because like they went from that to like Mayhem. That was terrible.
You know, one thing that people didn't know is that the AKI, they got the rights to WCW to make another wrestling game that was going to be WCW Mayhem 2 on the PS2. But what happened was that WWF bought the WCW out, so that game got canceled and it ended up turning into Def Jam Vendetta.
Okay.
Speaking of Def Jam Vendetta, like, would y'all like to see like another one come out? Like with the current rappers?
Well, see, the problem is this. The problem is this. Who would want to be on the game? Because dudes,
Yachty versus who? Like
see, that's
NBA young boy, you know,
bro. The funniest shit if you got to fight with Young Thug or somebody, bro. Like
put Boosie in there.
You know what I'm saying? You give me Project Pat, and I'm beating everybody's ass.
Or you like I know for a fact like somebody like Fat Joe or LL will do it because like they was on like you get LL to do it because guys like that. But imagine getting the game, bro. You got to fight with like Lil Baby or somebody.
You got to fight the Baby. The Baby is the final boss.
Yeah, like nah, I'm good. I think like for me, like I said, the only thing I would want to remaster Aki THQ game, but we'll never get it because
if we can get if this AEW game is real, like they're saying, and it's made by them, I think that's gonna happen a lot sooner than later.
By the way, somebody in the comments they were saying, did y'all realize on WCW World Tour that Muhammad Ali was on the game?
Joe Bruiser.
Yeah, Joe Bruiser.
And you had to unlock him, right? You had to go through.
He was the final. He was the final boss. Like he was in that final because I remember you unlocked Diamond Dallas Page. Shout out to Don's favorite wrestler, Glacier.
Yeah, Glacier. Did you have to unlock Glacier?
Fucking Glacier, bro.
He started AEW too now, didn't he? Yeah, he showed up in AEW too.
Yeah, on that first one.
He did in the buy-in, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Glacier. Then you unlocked. I think it was Macho Man, right? Yeah, NWO was Macho Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's Macho Man, and then somebody else. But yeah, that was crazy. And I remember on Revenge, you unlocked Roddy Piper. I can't remember who it was for the NWO. It was somebody else. But you unlocked
Kurt Hennig was unlockable. I think.
One of the luchadors too. Who was it?
Ultimate. No,
Was it
Ultimate
La
Dragon
Parka?
was.
No, it wasn't La Parka.
Nah, it was. Fuck, who was that? Because it wasn't La Parka. It wasn't Psychosis.
It was Kurt Hennig, Canyon, Ming and Barbarian, and Rowdy Piper.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout, dude, because you know, well, it was Mortis. Because I think Kane was on there. It was Mortis, right? Because he had two different ones. Because they had Mortis and Kane. Because it was him. Shout out to Mortis with the flatline. The flatliner was crazy. Shout out to Mortis, man. I'm trying to think who else.
Oh, Billy Kidman. There it is.
There it is. Yeah. It was Billy Kidman. Because I remember, it was Billy Kidman, yeah. Billy Kidman, hey, I'm telling you, man, Ravens flock, dude. I used to love Ravens. They had Reese, Sick Boy, him. Oh, man, I used to love Ravens flock. And, of course, like, they came out to the theme music. It wasn't Nirvana. They came out to Nirvana. They was doing Nirvana and other stuff. Yeah,
you know what? I'm actually going to go back and look at that now.
Yeah, they came out to Nirvana, like, and that's crazy thinking about that, like, how a lot of guys used to use different things. And you know what? We never even mentioned Booker T on any of this. Booker T is an underrated wrestler on Revenge, by the way.
I didn't like him because he didn't have any knockout moves.
I thought you were about to say Booker T's underrated. Period. I was about to be like,
nah.
Yeah, I thought I did too. I ain't gonna lie. I was about to be like,
like King Booker.
Nah, Booker's different, bro. Booker. It's crazy though, considering what he was in WCW until like that to now. You would have never thought, because like WCW held him back so long. He was just a tag team.
From Hulk Hogan, we coming for you to where he is now, man.
You nigga. Yeah,
like he's right there. Like he's Hall of Fame right there, man.
He
Stone Cold Steve Austin and him in the grocery store.
His match with Dickhead Benoit. The best of 5 or best of 6 match or best of 7 or whatever, where it was Benoit and Booker
for the.
If you want to talk about the best matches you've ever had, that's it.
Yeah, that was dope, bro. I agree, man. But like, it's a couple of them. But yeah, I see the comments. They said, we got to watch the West Coast. We got to watch that promotion, y'all. Yeah. So
what happened? Who's watching this?
It's a lot of people in my comments. It's on my Facebook. Y'all probably can't see them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like they're tuning in as well. Shouts the Nasty Boys. Yeah, they're talking about the Nasty Boys. Ministry of Darkness. Okay.
The Ministry of Darkness had that theme song, man.
Yeah, I hate the right to censor. Dude, I hate the right to censor. Oh my god, I hate.
Oh my god, they were annoying, but I mean, some segments were funny. I can't lie.
Oh yeah, by the way, me and Don talked about this. Jeremy, I gotta ask y'all both about this. What did y'all think about the Brawl Fall when they did the thing where they were boxing back in the day?
Oh,
they had the Vice documentary on that a couple of days ago.
That's why
I loved every minute of it. I was one of those few people that actually tuned in to watch that shit because they were actually really fighting for real. And I mean, they were fighting sloppy as hell. Bradshaw was just I don't know. It was just funny as hell to me.
No, the person that they
Mark Merrill's the one though.
Yeah, Bar Gunn beat up everybody.
Beat up everybody, man.
And then till he
wasn't even supposed to happen.
Yeah, because until he fought Butterbean, they made a mistake and let him fight Butterbean.
Oh man, Butterbean that ass.
By the way, I don't know about y'all, but that was when I think I quit watching wrestling at that point. But like when they had Floyd Mayweather on like WWF, I guess.
Oh, when he was against the Big Show.
Did y'all like that?
He broke the Big Show's nose. That was crazy, man.
Man, he was out.
He was actually heated. Big Show ran after him, man. He like ran over somebody, I believe.
DX. Remember Mike Tyson when he was in that whole little thing? That was fucking stupid too. Mike Tyson. That was a weird time though. I guess at that time you could just throw anybody because, like he said, Bam Bam Bigelow made Lawrence Taylor look decent, and that says a lot. Like Lawrence Taylor had
Yeah, Dennis Rodman in WCW.
Oh my God, no.
I mean, he had Carl Malone throwing up the diamond I didn't ever seen in my life, yo, with some purple elbow pads on.
No, that was I hated that when Carl Malone was in WCW.
Didn't he come out with like a black tank top and like some jeans to come wrestle?
Yeah,
and his tank top was tucked into his jeans.
Oh no, the most random. So me and Dom, when we did our sports show, this is years ago. A former NBA player explained that they were in NWO, and I was like, "What?" So we went to go search for these tapes, He was in the NWO. This NBA player Tracy Murray. He was in the NWO, like legitimately. Nate Newton for the Dallas Cowboys was in the NWO. Like they were all in the NWO. Like they had an episode where Nate Newton like ran in and like clotheslined somebody, and they put him in the NWO shirt. Like I've never seen that in my life.
WCW was wild in that, man.
Yeah, like that's what
I got to go back and see that.
And then of course the Fake Sting.
Fake Sting, shout out to Fake Sting.
Yeah, shout out to the Fake Sting. That was hilarious. Like
he was in the video game too.
Yes,
World Tour.
He was in World Tour. And it's crazy how they man, that was a weird time, man. Shout out to that though, but man, yeah, definitely, man. Next time we get on, I'm gonna get a wrestler with us because we got to do this with a wrestler because I want to hear some good stories that we've never been told. I think I know the person, so we're gonna work that out. I think Jeremy would LX would know who that is. Your favorite wrestler?
My favorite wrestler about what?
I'm gonna get him on.
All right.
Dude, I swear to God, the funniest thing ever. I hadn't heard from LX for like months. He texts me and says, "Hey, guess who's in town? Bret Hart." And I was like, "What?" He let me know off the bat. Like this, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I don't know a bigger fan of Bret Hart than him.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite wrestler of all time.
Like, yeah. So shout out to Bret Hart, man, and rest in peace to Owen Hart, man. That's nothing on Attitude. Remember on Attitude?
Now you want to talk about underrated? He was definitely underrated. I think Owen was a better wrestler than his brother.
He was truly talented, man.
Ooh,
he was funny too.
Base, you think so?
He got something to say.
He could do everything perfectly when he was a high flyer.
Can't speak on it. I'm being serious. I can't speak on that. My opinion does not mean anything on this one. I say I really enjoyed Owen. I thought he was. I agree that he's underrated. That I do.
You know, one thing that I feel like that we were robbed of, and it makes what happened to him so much more sad is I really would have liked to see a feud between him and Owen Hart and Chris Jericho.
Yeah, the matches would be fire. Yeah.
Owen and Edge, Owen Jericho, all that.
I didn't realize how great a wrestler he was until like obviously guys were like, yeah, he was like one of the best. He just never got the push that other guys got.
Well, I mean, not to be a dick, but you know, he kind of passed away kind of early, so kind of got robbed of that.
We did see some matches though. Check out his matches against Benoit in Japan; they were amazing.
Oh yeah,
yeah, man. Well, shit. Let's go ahead and end this, man. So, what I need everybody to do real quick is plug everybody's information. So, Dom, go ahead and plug your information in, man.
Yeah. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Euphoric Trip, and High Flyers Wrestling Podcast. Actually, we got, a Wednesday Night Wars AEW NXT episode dropping tonight. You can follow me on Twitter at FreshlySnipes21. And you can, listen to me and Hendo on Mo Sports Talk. Appreciate y'all tuning in.
All right. Base, let them know.
Follow Fat Kid Deals on Twitter. And then, what is it? WC Pro Official on Twitter. If you have IWTV, catch us on there too, and that's for West Coast Pro Wrestling.
Man, LX, tell them where to find you, brother.
Find me on YouTube at LX Dark Sniper, and you can also follow me on Instagram at LX Dark Sniper.
All right, Rico.
You can follow me on Twitter, Rick James, RIQUE James. You can find me on Mixer, same name. You can find me on Twitch, Rick James 89. You see me speed run through Resident Evil again. I'll probably do it here in a little few. Just had to put that out there, but appreciate y'all having me.
Man, I appreciate you guys, and like I said, next time we're gonna have a wrestler with us, man. I'm gonna make this happen, and yeah, we got to be ready, man, because it's gonna be a good show on that one. I think that'll be good to see, especially from all our angles. We got a promoter, we got guys that are like hardcore wrestling, man. I appreciate all you guys, and definitely, I'm gonna send everybody the video. I'm gonna shut it down real quick. Everybody stay in. I'm gonna shut it down, but definitely thank you, everybody on Twitch, everybody on Facebook, Twitter, everybody that's watching on both YouTubes right now for Euphoric Trip and mine, of course. But we appreciate you guys, and yeah, follow all these dudes, man. Trust me, these dudes are some of the best minds I could think of when I thought about doing this. I trust all these guys' opinion, man. And they're all gamers too, by the way. And I think some of the best gamers I've ever seen in my life. Like these guys are like some of the best gamers I've ever seen. They got things they do online, streaming and everything. And some probably don't stream anymore, but definitely, man, follow them. We out.
Peace, man.
Yeah. All right.